Okay. Very good morning, guys. Okay. So last day we've been talking about, I just been started the discussion talking about the concept called as a data annotations. So what are these annotations? Annotations basically are going to be data validations. Not like what you can just do is you can do client side, you can do data validations with the help of these annotations. And the good thing here is you don't require to write any manual logic. All the things are automatically performed to you. Implicit coding is available. So because of that implicit coding, you as a developer doesn't require to be bothered about how to implement the logic there. So all the logic is already predefined. Okay. So when we talk about these annotations, how they're implemented and how can we use them, let's try to understand about it. They are nothing but the validations that we put in our models to validate the input from the user. Where we put? We are going to put it on the models to validate the input from the user. These are similar to validation controls in Asp.NET Web Forms. Last class I said, you remember, in Asp.NET Web Forms we have a concept called as validation controls. So these are exactly same as the validation controls what we come across in our Asp.NET Web Forms. Asp.NET MVC provides a unique feature by using which we can validate the models by using the data annotation attributes, importing the namespace system.componentModel.data annotations. There is a namespace called system.componentModel.data annotations namespace. We need to import that namespace, and once we import the namespace, we can start working with the annotations. And remember, every annotation is a class. One thing here, I was always telling you this point to you. In object-oriented programming, everything is a class. In Windows, you learned controls. Every control is a class. Exception is a class. All are classes. So in the object-oriented programming, everything is a class. Okay. So you can use these data annotations by importing a namespace. Which namespace? Under this, we have all the classes. We can work with the classes. Data annotations can be used in our view pages for validating controls, as well as they can also be used in 2 times you'll be learning about these annotations, guys. One, I'll show you now about these data annotations to validate the controls. Second time we'll be learning in the database programming, entity framework. When we go to the entity framework database programming, there also we'll be learning about the data annotations. Data annotations allows us to define all the rules a model class and its properties has to follow. Understand this? We can define all the rules a model class and its properties has to follow. And they are divided into 3 categories. What are 3? Display attribute, validation attribute, modeling attributes. So what are these? Let's try to understand about each and everything. What are display attributes, validation attributes, and modeling attributes? The first thing is display attributes. The display attributes basically, mainly these annotations doesn't focus on the validations. These annotations doesn't focus on the validations. These annotations focus on displaying the data. These annotations focus on the displaying of the data. I'll show you. Already said you, watch this. Every data annotation is a class that is defined in the libraries of our language under the namespace system.componentModel.data annotation. The parent class for all the classes attribute, and the hierarchy of the classes is as following. Is it visible to whom sitting in the back? Is the screen visible? Back. Okay. So every data annotation is a class, and where this class are defined? Libraries of language, which namespace system.componentModel And all these are classes now. And the parent class is attribute. And under that we have a set of child classes. Hierarchy was missing. The first class is attribute. See your notes how the hierarchy was. First class is attribute. Under that, display format and display column. Next, under we have all these things. First is attribute. Below this, all these are there, right? Show me your notes once. How is it printed? Yeah. Display format, validation, address. Okay, thank you. No, Santosh. Yeah, first what we have is attribute. Under that, display attribute, display format attribute, display column attribute, and under that we have required attribute, data type attribute, compare attribute, range attribute, regular expression, and remote attribute. So these are the various classes that are available to us. Okay, so now how you can just use all these classes, I will just tell you how these classes can be utilized. I'll show you. There are various different classes what we have, and now how you can just use each and every class will let you know. See, so what is the first one? Display attribute. Under that, display format attribute, display column attribute. Next, now actually these are all for displaying the data, that's all. I'll talk about it. They don't do validations. Who will do validations? They will do validations. And all of you have a look on this. Read the note. Data annotations. What attributes? Will perform data validations both on client as well as server also. That is, first they will validate the data on client machine, and if at all those validations fail, page will not be submitted to the server. Whereas if the client disables JavaScript on his browser, then data is submitted to server, even the validations fail, and to overcome this problem, validations are re-performed on server also. This is what I explained in the last class, remember? So validations are done 2 times here. When first client side, first all the validations are done client side, next server side. First client side validations, afterwards you'll be performed with the server side validations. Both the 2 things. Is that clearer or not? Okay, so that's how exactly these validation attributes will work for you. So how will they do client and server means? We'll see. And guys, all these validation controls means generally if you want to do client side validations, the coding must be done by using JavaScript or otherwise jQuery. What is jQuery? jQuery is nothing but a JavaScript library, that's all. Simply here, jQuery is raw, JavaScript is raw. We require to write all the code on our own. jQuery is a ready-made library where you can directly use it. Got the point? But jQuery is developed by using JavaScript only. JavaScript library which can be directly used in your pages. So the coding must be done either by using JavaScript or jQuery only here. So here, what happened is, if at all you want to use the client-side validations, you're required to take the help of few jQuery libraries in your project now. When they're implemented by using jQuery, we're required to use the jQuery libraries. What are the jQuery libraries? jQuery, here I won't say 3.6 here, or simply what I'll say is version here. Whatever is the version, that version will come there. I don't want to skip the version. So whatever the latest version, jQuery hyphen version.min.js, next. jQuery.validate.min.js, next. jQuery.validation.unobtrusive.min.js. So these are all the libraries what you require first. For doing what? Client-side validations. On your page, you must use these libraries. Clear? So with that libraries, the validations are done on the client system. Means what is it? We use the libraries, but don't implement the logic. The logic is predefined already. Okay? Okay. Let me talk about every attribute. First, let me start about display attribute. The first one is display attribute. So first we'll start with the display attribute. What is the display attribute? See, for a label, if I bind a model, label for, when I bind a model property, what will be the label text? Have you noticed it? Property name only. What will be the label text? Property name. Suppose you are writing @HTML dot label for, okay, and you're binding customer ID for this, C lambda expression C dot cust ID. Is how you write correct? So label for will display what? The text will be shown as customer ID now. Are you clear? Means first we have a model class, public class customer. Now here public int cust ID get set public string name get set public double balance get set something. Now what are you doing? You're binding the label for. When you bind this, what will happen? This will show you the label text will be customer ID. But I want the label text be shown as customer space ID. Did you understand me? Customer space ID. If that is the case, I require to use a data annotation called as display attribute. How? In the model class, on the top of the model property, we write it. How? Display. Okay? And here, we are just going to give the text. Now, what it shows here is not cust ID. What it shows here? Customer ID. Are you clear? So this is what the first one. What is that? Display attribute. Display name is equals to. I should write like this. Display name is equals to customer ID. Are you clear? Here, what will come? Name will come. No, I want to show customer name. I want to show as customer name. Not in the property here, on the UI. What we are talking about is the UI. What UI shows? UI should show me what? Customer name. Same story again. What? Display name is equals to customer name. Okay, here I want to show display name is equals to customer balance. Yeah, this is how you can. So now the labels will not pick the property names. What the label will pick? The display. Understood the first attribute? That is the first attribute that's called as a display. Next one is display format. What is the display format? The display format is used for three scenarios. What? Display the text as null when a data field is empty. Next, display currency date in local specific currency format. Next, display date information in any predefined or specified format. So let me show you examples about that. Have a look at this, all of you. To display numeric date in currency format. If at all I want to show anything in the currency format, see, I have salary. I have salary here. What I'm using, say, display format. Data format string, C. C indicates currency. So automatically now, our applications are built in American format, so you will get $sign automatically. When the salary is entered, what you'll get? $sign automatically. So that is called as the display format. Okay, what is this? Display format. So not only that one, guys, I'll show you different examples. See, I want to get the date in this format. I want to take date in this format. What format? I want to take a value in a date format. So day indicates date. What format do you want? This is a default format here. DD, YYYY. Be careful when you're typing this one. In uppercase, DD, YYYY in lowercase. In C# also I said you recollect yourself when the date formatting. Okay. So display format string is equals to, how you should write? 0 D. The D indicates what? Date. C indicates what? Currency. Okay. And this is for date of birth. And here I can tell the format. What is the format? YYYY is the default format it will give. This is the default format. No, sir. I don't want this format. I want YY. I can change. I can change my format. How? Watch it. Without simply writing D, what did I write there? DD, YYYY. If I simply say D, it takes American format because the default is American format. No, I want my own format. I can tell the format in this particular mechanism. Okay, now, still, you wanted to take time also. Array, not only date, I just want time also. Watch that. HH, MM, SSSS. That HH again in capital. Okay, do you understood now? The MM uppercase lowercase difference, did you notice it? The MM uppercase represents month, MM lowercase represents minutes. That's why you just write uppercase here. Okay. Suppose you just want it in a, this is a 24-hour format. You want in a 12-hour format. See that? HH in lowercase. 12-hour format. But at the time, this TT is to indicate AMP. In 12-hour compulsory AM PM should come na. This T2 is to tell what? AM or PM. This lowercase hh indicates what? 12-hour. Uppercase hh indicates what? 24-hour format. Say, to display value not specified when value is null. Suppose if the value is null, I want to just show message, value not specified. How you can write, null display text. What is that? Means if you don't specify name, it will show you name not specified. It will show you as name not specified. These are all for displaying here. They don't do any validations. They don't do any validation. Basically, they're only for display formats. How you just want to give the outputs to the user. Okay. So we'll see how you use them. So these are not going to do any data validations as I said you. What next? The next thing what we have is validation attributes. So these are all nothing but validation attributes. Same way, we just have, okay, let's also talk about the validation attributes here. So what are the validation attributes we have? We have different validation attributes like required field validator. What is that? Required field validator. The required field validator, as the name indicates, what's it? Really, it's a required. Means, like, for example, you take, I want to take a name from the user. I want to take the name from the user. Name is required. Name is a required attribute. So basically, the required field validator is just used for performing the mandatory validation. If at all you just wanted to do any mandatory validation, at that point of time, what we just use is the required field validator in this context. So how do we use the required field validator? See, just I'm giving an overview. I'll show all the things practically. Just understand what is what first. See, value is mandatory and cannot be skipped. How do you see? Public string name required. If not entered, error message. Name field cannot be left empty. Is that clear? Read that. The data type for that, what is that? Is a password. This is a password. This is a password field. Same way, compare validator. What is compare? Read it. The best example for compare is confirm password. Confirm password should always be matching with password now. Okay? Everything will see practically, don't worry. Read. Can you understand that? Age should be ranging between 18 to 60. You can give error message there, right? Not type 8. You can give error message. Error message is equals to age should be ranging between 18 to 60. Guys, did you learn about regular expressions in your HTML? Did you learn about regular expressions in HTML? I'm asking you only here, answer the question. In C Sharp, yeah, in C Sharp I taught you now. Okay, fine. In HTML, you did not learn also? So I forget. I taught in C Sharp only, no? Okay, regular expressions. Read it. can use regular expressions also. Regular expression, you can give the regular expression value there. Got it? Okay. So this is a regular expression validator, and now you can just use the regular expressions in your code. One more thing called remote here. I will talk about the remote. I just don't want to. I'll show you that remote practically. Let me show all these things practically first, without confusion. Let me show you in practical first about all these attributes. Okay. Actually, when you write this on the controls, that will apply to you automatically on the, when you use this on the property, that will apply on the controls. When you use this on the properties, that will apply on the controls only. So directly on the controls we don't do, because these controls are C# coding. We are writing the controls in C# code, not HTML. If you, the question is, why validations on properties can we put it directly on controls? So for that only I'm just telling it. We don't put it on the controls directly, because are you using HTML controls? Are you using C# code? You're using C# code. That's why we do it on the properties, but not on the controls directly. Not on the controls directly. Okay. So let me show all these things in practical than talking on them theoretically. So that you'll understand it much better. Fine. Now, what I'll do is, okay. Let us create a new project here. Create a new project. Asp.Net web application. I'll call it as MVC data annotations. MVC data annotations. I'll go with an MVC project template. MVC project template, okay? Create. In the models, I'll add a model class. I will name this as user. So the model is a user. Okay, on this, I just want to define some set of properties for the user now. I want to define a set of properties for the user. So what properties? First property, name. Password. Annotations I'll write here. First of all, I'm copying the properties what I want. Oh, sorry. Confirm password. Date of birth. Mobile. Email. Address. That's it, guys. These are the properties I want to define. So all the properties, I don't require to tell you separately. Name is string, password string, confirm password, date of birth is date, time, mobile number, string, email ID, string, address, string. Come on. Shall I apply annotations on this now? First annotation. Your name. The UI should show me as username. Are you clear? So what attribute should I use? Display. I should use a display attribute now. I should use a display attribute right now. Correct? Okay. I need to use a display attribute. So first thing, using system dot component model dot data annotations is the namespace what I required to import. System dot component model dot data annotations is the namespace what I required to import first. Come on. The first one is display. Okay. Name is equals to, what do you want to show? This is what I want to show. Are you clearer? I want this to be a required field. I want the name to be a required field. Required field? Okay then. Required. Error message is equals to, what is the error message you want to publish? Username field cannot be left empty. Username field cannot be left empty. That's a required validation. How simple your coding became you understood now? Don't need to write any complex coding at all now. Simply say required. What error message you want to show? Tell me, I'll show you that. That's all, enough. So that much simple, the things are going to work for you. Is that clearer? Okay, so required, and just go for in the error message what you want to do. Okay, so that's what. Still, I want the name to accept only alphabets here. Alphabets and spaces. Alphabets and spaces. No numerics, no special characters. Minimum name should have 3 characters. Minimum. Name 1 character, name 2 character, name. Minimum name should be 3 characters. Okay now? I'll use a regular expression. I'll use a regular expression. And here, for the regular expression, you can just give the expression what you want. What is the expression you want? Comma, error message, what you wanted to show. Just a minute. I'll write the expression. Error message is equals to, and you can give the error message. What is the error message? Name can have alphabets and spaces with minimum 3 characters. Okay, with the minimum size of 3 characters. That's the error message. So name can have alphabets and spaces with a minimum size of 3 characters. With a minimum size of 3 characters. Okay now. So that's what the error message I want to show. Now here write the expression. Write the regular expression. Guys, regular expressions you basically learned already in the Windows programming C# classes. All the how to use the regular expressions. How you use? Just I'm prefixing @ sign. Why? You remember slashes or escape characters to overcome that default this thing we use @ paths and all @. So basically I'm using @ sign and I'm writing my expression. How to write? See, basically should contain A to Z or A to Z. You remember that? What should be present? What should be present? Uppercase or lowercase alphabets. And one more thing here, I want to allow spaces also. I want to allow spaces also. Space also should be allowed. Slash lowercases. Lowercases means allow space, uppercase S means don't allow space. Okay, slash S, the lowercases. To say that spaces are allowed. Okay, so in the square brace, what I should specify? What is allowed. In the square brace, what I should specify? What is allowed. Afterwards, you should use the curly brace and tell minimum how many? 3. maximum, no limit, comma, leave it. Minimum 3, maximum, no limit. If I say 3 comma 10, maximum is 10. But if I say 3 comma and leave it, there is no limitation for the max size. So the name can have any maximum number of characters, but a minimum character size should be 3 in that. Okay, so that is the data annotation for, that is the regular expression for accepting alphabets and spaces, minimum 3, maximum no limit. Okay, I done all my validations for name now. What next? Password. Oh yeah, I'm wrong. That should be capital here. Uppercase, lowercase. Thank you. Password. What do you want? For password also I want to do a set of validations here. What validations you want? First I want to use data type validation. Data type. Understood that? Tell me data type. Okay, next. Required. Required. Here also. Error message equal to. Right, what? Password field cannot be left empty. Okay. Now for a password, guys, I want to write a regular expression. I want to write a regular expression for a password with a set of data validations. I want to write a regular expression for the password with a set of data validations. Just a minute. Yeah, these are the password rules I want. What is the password rule? At least one digit, at least one lowercase alphabet, at least one uppercase alphabet, at least one special character. Here are special characters. Spaces not allowed. Minimum 8, maximum 16. Minimum 8 and maximum 16. And guys, do you remember these data annotations and all, these regular expressions and all, we don't require to break off our head how to write. Lot of samples are available. I already explained you in the C# classes. You can just Google password validations and you can just use. So I need an expression for this. And this is only the expression here. If I write question mark equal to dot star 0 to 9, what is the meaning, you know? This represents a digit must occur at least once. If I write like this, a lowercase alphabet must occur at least one. If I write like this, an uppercase alphabet should exist once. If I write this, special characters at the rate, hash, dollar, underscore, hyphen, should at least one should be there. And uppercases, lowercases, allow space, uppercases, don't allow space. Minimum 8, maximum 16. So that is the password validation for what we are planning. Just a minute. Guys, have a look. So, what is the third one we are planning? Regular expression. And what did I say? How to use the regular expression? Here you are required to specify the validation expression first. Check. That is the validation expression. Hey, just now I give an explanation. This represents what? This first brace. At least one numeric. Second, at least one lowercase alphabet. Guys, these are the special characters I planned for. If you want more, you add them. That's your choice. You just want a cap sign, negation sign, something. You add. That's your choice here. No issue. Next. No spaces are allowed. Minimum 8, maximum 16. But when the validations fail, do I need to show an error message to user? And the error message should be showing the message like, yeah, when you're going to show the error message to user, something wrong I'm writing. Start the brace here. Fine. After this space, comma. After the double quote, comma, error message is equals to. So in error message, I just require to display the clear message to user. Correct? Guys, have a look. Password format. Okay. What should be the password format? I'm just going to tell the password format now. How you want the password format? Break. No space. Again a break. Minimum one numeric. Again a break. Minimum one uppercase and lowercase alphabet. Again a break. Minimum one any of these special characters should be ranging between 8 to 16. Should be ranging between 8 to 16. Okay. So like this, I just wanted to publish the error message to the user. Okay. So now the error messages will be shown for the user appropriately. We'll see the output. We'll understand much better. What next? Password validation completed. What next? Confirm password. Guys, for confirm password, I want to use a display name. What do you want to show? Confirm password. I want to show confirm password. I did not give a password. Let's do for password also. Display. Is it necessary for password? Actually not required with password only, but I want to show password colon. Did you get my point here? I want to show password colon. Otherwise not required here. I want to show password colon. Yeah. Confirm password doesn't have a space here. That's why I can confirm password colon. We have the property name is it's a single word, no space there, nah. But I want to show it like this. What next? Do I need a regular expression for confirm password? Means not required. But confirm password also should know. Yeah, not required. Here, just use the compare validator enough. Did you catch my point or not? No need a regular expression for this here. Just go for using a compare validator enough. Just a minute. I need a data type, guys. I need a data type. Okay. I want a required field also. I want a required field also. But the fourth validation is not regular expression here. The fourth validation what I'm going to use is compare validator. Compare. Concentrate here. Compare. Compare with what? You need to tell that here. What do you know? The property for which it has to be compared with. Which property you need to compare? Password. Are you clear? Confirm password is being compared with password. Comma. Okay. Afterwards, you can just go for using the error message what you wanted to show. Error message is equals to. Tell me. Should match with password. That's it. Confirm password should match with password. Are you clear? So here we have to display data type required in regular expression. Here, display data type required in compare. What next? Date time. Date of birth. For date of birth here, for date of birth, I want a data type validation. I want a data type validation. How do you say? The data type is date. The data type is date. I also want a display name. Want a display name also? Yeah, I want a display name. What do you want? I want to show it clear here. Date of birth. Date of birth. Clearer. I want a required field also. I want a required field also. Error message. Date of birth field cannot be left empty. Date of birth field cannot be left empty. Okay, apart from this, I want one more thing also. I'll tell you. I did not still explain about that. That is remote attribute. I said I'll show you practically. I did not explain about that, guys. I'll explain about that. Hold on. We'll talk about it. Okay, I'll just tell you that one. Yes, we use Srikant. Password validation in name field. Password validation in name field? No, na? No. This is name field. Name field over here. Password validation is done in password only. Spelling mistake in error message. Where? That only DDMMYYYY only. Where here? Confirm password? That is not a logic error, na. What you get output wrong, that's all. Why you bother about that? The what shows on screen, the message here that is, why you bother about that? That's only spelling correction. See, logically that doesn't affect anything for us. I want one more validation on data birth. I'll tell you what is that. Okay. Meanwhile, let's go with mobile number. Let's go with the mobile number. For mobile number, I just want to have a display text. What I want is mobile number. I want a data type. I want a data type. So what is the date? Oh, sorry. What is the data type you're going to use? A data type called phone number. Okay. So where these data types will come into action, I'll show you. I'll show you where these data types comes into action. And also I want a regular expression. I want a regular expression. And guys, remember this regular expression, what I'm expecting here is, you remember mobile number should be starting with 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Minimum 10, maximum 10. Cannot exceed that. And do you guys remember the expression for that? How to write? I said here 6 to 9. That is the first digit. Okay, letter /D represents numerics. How many? 9. The first one is single, one digit. Afterwards, 9. Total 10. But should start only with 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Give that a message. Tell me, mobile number should start with 6 or 7, 8, 9. And can be having a length of 10 digits. Length of 10. Okay. Done. Mobile number. And finally, email ID. I just have an email. For email also, I'm using display name, data type, email address. Data type, email address. Finally, address. For address here, only address, nothing more. So these are the annotations what I just applied. These are the annotations what I just applied. Yes, Srikanth. That's what I answered already. Yes. Okay. So these are the annotations here. What next? The next thing after applying all the annotations, now define your controller and the model or the views and all these particular things you can just define now. Now add a controller. Add a controller. What name did I use? User controller. User controller. Import the model namespace using, tell me, system, brainless fellows. Every day I'm telling again, you'll forget. Your model namespace is your project folder only. Why you're telling system and all the nonsense? I'm saying you model namespace. Where did you define the model class? That one. MVC data annotations dot models. That's what I'm telling you every day. Okay. And now here, I just wanted to launch the add user view. Public view result, add user. Return view. Okay, now the add user view has to be launched now. Right click, add view. Go for using empty and select your model class. What is your model class? User. Okay, select the model class, that is user. So user is your model class. You select all these particular options. And using a layout page also, all this. See, add a new view action method without, okay, did not choose a layout. Okay, leave the layout. So click on the add. So you got it. Okay, you just got the model. This is the model what you have. MVC data annotations dot model dot user. And now, guys, have a look. I want to create all the controls on screen now. Okay, we'll create all the controls. But for the data annotations to work, I said you require 3 JavaScript libraries. You need 3 JavaScript libraries. Actually, I just done a small thing here. Basically, the existing jQuery library is 3.4.1. Just update to the latest version. Update it to the latest version. I shown you this, remember? How to update? Louder. Tools. NuGet Package Manager. Manage NuGet packages for solutions. Go to updates directly. Go to updates. And try to update the jQuery library. Just go here and go for install. Automatically 3.4.1 will be uninstalled and 3.6.0 will be installed. Okay. Yeah, update it. After updating it, on your header, 3 files you're required to use. 1. First one, jQuery min.css. Second one, jQuery validate min.js. Third one, unobtrusive.min.js. Are you clear? Done. What next? Now guys, you can start creating your controls. Now you can start creating your controls. Shall I? Okay. Let's start with begin form. And in the begin form, if I don't specify any action method name, where it goes? Same. But I want to submit it to another action method. I want to submit to another action method. Add user na. Now I want to display user. Add user is the method here. I want to go to display user. So here, action method name is display user, comma, controller name. Oh, our controller name is also user only. Eh? Our controller name is also user only. User. Come on. I'm just going some styling here. @HTML dot label for u dot name. U dot name. And all of you observe it, when I run this, it won't show name. Earlier it showed name. But today what will show, user name. Are you clear? And next, beside this, I want a text box. Beside, next, a break. Then one text box. @html dot. You use the text box for label for something we used na. I'm showing a new option, say editor for. What is this editor for? Based on the data type, it will select what control is suitable here. Based on the data type. That's why I said the data type attributes to you. Based on the data type, it will set the suitable control here. You said data type email, huh? It will create you input type is equals to email. And all of you, someone already asked this question. Sir, you did not do a validation for email. No need. Why? In HTML, didn't you learn? Input type is equals to email doesn't require data validation. Email has a built-in validation. Because I used data type as email address here, this is going to create you an input type email. When it creates input type email, email validation is already built in. Am I clearer, all of you? That is the reason why I did not do the email validation. Who is that? Someone asked this question for you. Yeah, Nitesh. No need the data validation for email. Yeah, where is that? Yeah, editor for, and you can say u dot name. U dot name. Okay, one more thing. You want to display error message? Beside the control, you want to display error message? This is for displaying the error message associated with the username. You have an error message there now for username? To display the error message associated with the username, we use that validation message for that will display the error message. Is that clearer? Yes or not? Now continue the same process for all the controls. Means coming to the UI doesn't have much complex coding here. UI coding is going to be very, very simple. All same coding only, see. I did not say text box, text area, password, nothing. Simply everywhere I use the same thing. Editor for, see, same repetition. Label, editor, validation message. Label, editor, validation message. Clearer or not? So I'm just going to do all these things. Finally, the two buttons. Finally, the two buttons. Okay, run. I said 8:40 won't stop the class. Now 8:45 already said you. I can't change it for you now. Actually, my problem is I need to drop my son, guys. I need to leave him to the bus and come. That's why I'm getting late. The bus late there, I'm getting late here. So that's the problem. Okay. You see there, username, label, password label, confirm password label, date of birth. Date of birth. You set the data type as a date na. Calendar. Got it? Mobile number, email ID. Email ID has a built-in validation. Remember, email ID has a built-in validation. You did not write anywhere now, that's built-in. Are you clearer? Okay, so that's what all the validations are in action. Check. Username field cannot be left empty. Password field cannot be left empty. Confirm password field cannot be left empty. Date of birth field cannot be left empty. Mobile number should start with 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 and can have only a length of 10. Address, we don't have any validation. But every control has validations. All the validation messages you can see there. But basically, these validation messages, I want to highlight them. I want to highlight these messages here. Okay, we'll do it. Just a minute. Go to view page source, all of you, and observe. the input type for all the controls. First one, type is text. Second one, password. Tell. In HTML you learned it, but unfortunately in HTML we have input type tell, but there is no built-in validation for this. By telephone number format varies from country to country, there is no built-in validation for it. Email. Text. Is the point clear? Okay. Yeah, you can do here. You do that label, star marks and all, you put it up. Yeah. And now, when you come to the error messages, how they're getting shown, you see? Span tag. You might be explained about the span tag. Span tag is just for displaying some static text on the UI. Span tag. They're using a span tag to display the things. So, actually, the problem now is, the span tag doesn't have any style showing in black and white. I want to show some the span output in some text from formatted. So what I want to do is, let me write a style for this, guys. Let me write a style for this span. Clear? I'm writing the color as red, background color yellow, Polstein oblique. So the error messages are going to be displayed highlighted now. Mobile number, I don't have a mandatory field validation for that. See, basically mobile number is not mandatory for me. But if you enter, it should be correct. Understood my point here? Mobile number is not mandatory here, but you are entering wrong. I won't accept. Email ID is not mandatory for me, but you are entering wrong. I won't accept. Are you getting me? Okay. The password format. Okay. Now you guys watch it. This is a mandatory field. I want to enter the name as R.S. Krishna. Well, see, error message got removed off there. Yes or not? That's a behavior, guys, what we call as unobtrusive behavior. Unobtrusive means once the validation is success, automatically the error messages are removed. For that only actually we use this. Unobtrusive behavior we call. So once we enter the correct value, automatically that gets removed from there. That's called as what? Unobtrusive behavior. Now password. See, showing you the password format, space are not allowed. One uppercase character, one lowercase character. I fulfilled, guys. Automatically the message got removed this. Matching. Not matching. Okay. Date of birth. Date of birth. It just takes an American standard MMDDYY. Just entering some date of birth here. Okay. Some value. Like 07 25 2011. Something. I'm just entering this value. And guys, actually, I want one more validation on that. I did not say that. The user who is going to register should attain 18 years of age. That validation is pending still. I did not do that. Okay, I'll do it. Mobile number. Validation success. You can see the behavior. Are you clear? So now, basically the thing is, all the business logic will be in the models here. UIs are clean. You don't have a lot of coding in the UI now. Did you notice that? We don't have any lots of coding that is present for you in the UI. UIs are very, very clean and simple without any complex coding. All the UIC, for all controls, three things we used. A label, editor for, display, message for. Display validation message. That's it. That's neat and clean. All the logic or all the validation code will go to where? Email ID ends with .io or .com or .in will accept or only .com. Anything? Accepted C? Accepts, not .com. Array, that's a built-in validation of HTML control. Yeah, I'm not writing. If you want your own validation, Shubham, if you want your own validation, Google for regular expression for email. Google for regular expression for email, explore it, try to create one expression, bring it and put it over there. Are you clear? Okay. Error messages in the form of tooltips. You need to write JavaScript coding for that. You need to write all the JavaScript coding for that. If at all you want to get them in the form of tooltips and all, you're required to write more JavaScript coding for that. It's out of my syllabus. You can just explore how you can do it. I'm not going to teach that. Yeah, your option is there, but you need to explore. Okay. So fine. So understood how you can use all the data validations now? Yes or not? So still what is pending for us? Age validation is pending. Age validation. What is that? The user who is registering must attain 18 years of age. The user who is registering must attain 18 years of age. 18 years of age must be there. So that is what I want it in that particular place. Fine. Next thing what I'm expecting is, yeah, this validation, actually, I did not tell you about. There's something called as remote. There is one more attribute called remote here. I did not explain about the remote attribute. By using the remote attribute, we are going to do the validation. So what the remote attribute is? Nothing. Actually, validation should be done on the client side, JavaScript. I explored a lot. Just for example, I'm telling you, for some validation, I explored a lot, but I'm not able to successfully write the code using JavaScript. Some validation, a very complex validation, I explored a lot, but I'm failure to write that code by using JavaScript. I'm not such good in JavaScript, or JavaScript libraries doesn't have the capability of writing that logic. Maybe any reason, I'm not able to do it. But I can write that logic in C#. You said, sir, in JavaScript I'm not able, but in C# I can write the code. Are you getting me? Yes or not? So you can write C# coding and do client-side validation. How, sir, how C# code will execute on the client side? C# code will not execute on client side, no, it is only on server-side code. Because browser doesn't execute anything other than JavaScript. Are you getting my point here? Browser doesn't execute anything other than JavaScript code. That's what the beauty, what Microsoft has given for us. What's it is? Without submitting the page to the server, in the background, it will contact the server, checks the validation, gets a result from there. And all this happens on client side. This page won't be submitted to server without submitting only all this. Have you noticed it here? What is that? In all these particular cases, if any validation failed, the page won't be submitted to server. When you click on this, oh, sorry. Any validation failed here. This validation is failed now, right? Yes or not? The page won't be submitted to server. When you click on this, it is not going to reach the server at all. Did you understand? Reaching the server means Automatically the data goes to server. It won't happen now. When will it happen? Only when the validations are successful. Are you clear? That is what? That the beauty of all the validation controls. Page won't be submitted to server if the validations will fail. Okay? Sir, if JavaScript is disabled, also your validations are performed on this server side again. Are you clear? That also I did not show you. So next session, I'll show you all these particular options. I disable JavaScript on the client side and show you how the server side validations will be done and how the date of birth validation I'm going to perform by using a remote attribute. All these things tomorrow will conclude it. Okay? And without displaying each error message, let us display all the messages at one place, either on the top of the page or bottom of the page. So we'll just try to do some stylings and all the things tomorrow. Okay, let's stop here. We'll meet in the next session.